Hello, I'm Chuck at BGHQ. This is an overview of the Arkham Horror 3rd Edition insert that I print and sell on bghq.us. Right on top, of course, you have your rule books, and then your streets go right on top of that. And then you have your 2-tray bit token holders. You have your streets. One thing to note about the streets is it has to go in a certain way or it won't fit. It's got to go in like that. And of course you have your action deck and your dice. Now we're going to get into some of the nitty-gritty details that may not be so obvious. These trays may or may not be obvious. These hold the various neighborhoods so that you can quickly take those out and get them set up without having to pull decks out and have piles. It will hold them nice and neat without spilling everywhere. And they will support the Fantasy Flight sleeves. The second thing that isn't so obvious is it comes with a 10th card tray where I put my player action cards and I leave it in here. But it also substitutes for the anomaly deck holder when you're playing a game to keep the anomaly deck organized a little bit. So that can be utilized for that. One of the other cool features I like about my player tray here is that I've put some notches in, you can see them here and here, so that when you're playing a given scenario, you can just slide the scenario in and have it sitting up on the game table. If you're like me in my gaming group, we like to be able to see what's going on and any notations. And in here it obviously holds all of the player sheets. There's plenty of room for expansions if they come. It also holds the investigator bases. I typically don't use these because they mess up the bases. I have some 3D ones that I print, but I've made a place for this because not everybody likes the 3D printed versions. And it holds the investigator tokens, the investigator cards. Moving on to the next slotted tray. I've been asked why there's so much room for 6 player tokens, turn order tokens. And the reason I do that is because I like to put these in the coin holders to keep the tokens nice and clean. So I've made them big enough for that. It'll still hold them. There'll just be a lot of extra room if you don't use the coin tokens. And then of course I have this tray which holds the allies, the items, the spells, and the special cards. And you can just take that and set it on the game table as well. Let's talk a little bit about the card holder. It's not obvious at first glance where the cards go, and there's no printing on the side to tell you. So the first widest slot is where you put the archive cards that make up your codex when you're playing. The second slot is the headlines, the headline cards. Then you have 3 slots for your anomaly cards, and they go in any order, 1, 2, 3. These are the anomaly decks here. And then the next ones are the events and encounter cards that you have for the event decks for the various scenarios. For example, this one is the event encounter for Echoes of the Deep. Again, it doesn't really matter where you put them. You can put them in any order. This is for Feast of... I'm not even going to pronounce that. I don't know how to pronounce many of these names. And then here you have your special tokens. These are the actually the marker tokens, and this holds 9 in it. And again, I put the coin holders over the top of them to give them a little more weight and feel. But because it only holds 9, I have to put the 10th one in the anomaly token holder here. Not a big deal for me. Again, if you don't use the coin sleeves, I guess is what you call them, they'll all fit in here just fine. So you have your tray for your anomaly tokens. And then down in here you have your conditions and your monster cards. So you can just take those out and set them out. And then your mythos tokens. And I love putting these in the coin holders because it gives them a really weighty feel when you're reaching into the bag and stirring those up. And it keeps them protected so that your mythos tokens stay really nice. So, in a nutshell, that's how all of this fits in. And let's see, I think I've covered everything. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me on my Etsy shop. I try to answer everything very timely within 24 hours for sure, but I'm usually up to the minute on most of that communication. And if there's anything I can help you with or anything that I can do, I'd be happy to hear from you. Anyway, let me know what you think. That's the Arkham Horror 3rd Edition insert found at bghq.us.